Hi, everyone. My name is Alexandra from Hear Me Roar. And today, you guys are actually joining me on my very first episode of what I am lovingly calling Cacao Talk. Now, I know we've all heard about coffee talk, okay? And I love coffee, don't get me wrong. But in this past year, two and a half, I have really developed a very beautiful relationship with ceremonial cacao. And so I thought, this is a beautiful way and time to start putting myself out there more, to be offering more content. And as I was just, trying to think what would be a fun and creative way of doing this, I said, you know what, let's do cacao. I started about a month ago doing a 20-day cacao challenge, ceremonial cacao challenge, which was literally making the ceremonial cacao every single day, coming onto Zoom with the group and learning something. And it was really life changing, to be able to commune with it that way. So I said, well, I'll take something that I've incorporated into my life that's very yummy and that has really helped me further along in my spiritual, personal, and professional, practice. So why not incorporate that in? So on today's episode, I'm just going to take a few moments to introduce myself for those of you who don't know me, what my intent and my purpose is for these cacao talks. And I honestly, I think that the best topic to talk about today is what is ceremonial cacao and how have I started to incorporate it into my life. So, a little bit about myself. I'm originally from San Diego, and I have been working with energy healing and life coaching for a little over 10 years now. I have had it be kind of my side thing for a while, and then this past year, I have really dedicated myself to doing the conscious steps and physical and mental, emotional steps to really offer this full time for my life purpose and my passion to be what I do in life, to be able to be of service. And that's how I make my money and my income. So I really, really like to work a lot with shamanic and tantric energies and working with ceremonies, whether it's plant ceremonies or cacao ceremonies. And I would say my big goal in my practice stems from a couple fundamental beliefs. The first being that we all create our own reality. We really are responsible for the reality and how we respond or therefore show up to the life experiences that we have. And so that may sound, at least to me in the beginning, sounded a little bit daunting. And there was still some victimhood energy there and some like, how can it all be my fault? Well, the thing is, it's not about fault. It's about ownership. It's about empowerment. And so when I started shifting the perspective from, oh, it's my fault versus their fault, to no, I actually have a choice. I can create confidence, self love, and acceptance, and empowerment, and ownership of how I'm reacting or responding to the world around me. And that is what impacts what my reality is. So, therefore, that's how I create my reality. I also believe that within all of us, we have this inner knowing or this inner guidance or this higher self that's connected to the spirit, the divine, the life force energy around us. And if we take the time to go within and cultivate that relationship with that inner knowing or higher self, we will definitely receive all the guidance, the clarity, and the healing that we are seeking. So, all the services that I offer revolve around creating a container and a safe space to guide an individual to connect with that part of themselves so that you can have that self empowerment that's needed in order to cultivate and manifest the life that you want, right? So, that's just a little bit about myself. What my intention with these videos um, really is to just kind of share about, like, I have a lot of questions sometimes from people of like, hey Alex, how do you live your life? Like, how do you live your clients? What do you recommend? Like, you get that as a coach. You get like, well, what do you do, right? And so I'm like, okay, well, let me share little by little what I do, because what I do is a daily practice. It is a daily relationship with myself that always revolves around or centers around self love and self acceptance. So, regardless if I have a good day or a bad day or anything that's going in my life, if I have a major trigger or a major celebration, I always come back to, okay, come back within and see how I can bring more love here in. How can I bring more self acceptance and self worth and so forth in, right? And to be honest, I use a variety of different things, but the thing that's most important is that it is a daily thing. I do not believe that I will ever in this lifetime, or probably in any lifetime, all of a sudden solve all of my problems, all of a sudden be like problem free, right? I don't even think that's the purpose or the goal of a human life experience. I think the purpose and the goal of a human life experience is to evolve, is to feel contrast, to feel desires, to grow and expand, outside of the comfort zones that we create, right? So that we can further become and allow ourselves to be this version, this like authentic version that we have inside of ourselves, as we start to pull away, or like break down walls and barriers and old narratives, and we start to accept and celebrate any type of success that we have in our life. We kind of like shed these how, what do I want to call them, we shed these layers, I guess is the best word, that cover up who we authentically are. And that is part of the human life experience, or that is the human life experience. And that the healing that I do for myself not only is beneficial for me, and not only is it beneficial, obviously, for my family and friends and my clients, but it's also beneficial for group consciousness, right? So with these videos, I thought it would be fun. I think right now, and I think this will definitely, well, I know it'll definitely grow. I want to dedicate for the month of September every day coming on with my cacao for Cacao Talk. And basically, I'm putting it to spirit that the topic is going to be inspired from something that came up the day before. And that is going to offer, I trust that that's going to offer beautiful opportunities for me to share who I am, for me to share the life lessons that I have learned, and also what I learned from the people around me, and I think that that just will, again, I think I just trust that this is going to be something that is going to be beneficiary for all of us, who are inspired, and guided to watch these, right? So, yeah, every day will probably be something different. It could be a personal trigger that comes up for me. It could be a trigger that came up for a client. It can maybe just be something random, or a quote that kind of came up from a life, for something that happened the day before. It may be inspired from a topic of what I like to work with. So topics of ceremonies, cacao, plant medicine, shamanic work, tantric work. But basically, one topic will come up the night before, and then I'll come on the next day. I'll make my cacao. And if you guys are inspired to start doing your own cacao when you watch these, you can, and then we'll just go from there. So today's topic is, what is cacao? Well, I'm gonna take a sip. Hold on, give me 1 second. Mm, mm. It's really tasty. um, so one of the new services I started adding this past year was, excuse me, cacao ceremonies. And when people ask me what I do and I mention cacao ceremonies, a lot of people, like I was, last year, were like, well, what is a cacao ceremony? So I found that the easiest way to explain them to them is, what is cacao? So cacao comes from the cacao plant, which is where chocolate comes from. And I'm going to break it down. There is a difference between cacao, cocoa, and then within cacao, there's a difference between regular cacao and ceremonial cacao. So the easiest explanation is, cacao is the raw form, of the, it comes from like a little pod of the cacao plant. So when you go to the store and buy powdered cacao, it just means it's in its raw state. It has not been roasted. Cocoa, on the other hand, is cacao that has been roasted. So when you go to the store, you're going to see packages that say, organic cacao, or you're going to see cocoa and so forth, right? So that's like the easy, basic way to differentiate cacao from cocoa. Now, what is ceremonial cacao versus just regular cacao? So, first of all, if you are wanting to do or implement or attend a cacao ceremony, make sure that they are using or you are buying something that is labeled ceremonial cacao. And the reason for that is it is the way in which the plant um, is planted, grown, cultivated, processed. There is when we're talking ceremony, that's what it means. It means that the plant is usually grown on sacred land or land where I learned this the other day, where there could be heavy deposits of jade. You know, jade is considered, you know, for the heart chakra, and ceremonial cacao really allows us to connect with our heart chakras. So the cacao is grown on a land that has been blessed. And specifically, this is just the studies I've had from the Mayan culture. There are processes that are done as the plant is growing, as it's producing, who gets to touch it, and what types of offerings or ceremonies are done as the cacao pods are removed from the tree. And then there's a whole again ceremonies and blessings and offerings that are done as the cacao is being processed by hand. It should be actually processed by hand in order to really keep not just the physical integrity of the cacao and all its, you know, just health benefits, but also the energetic and spiritual energy of the plant itself. And then once it's processed by hand, it is wrapped. Again, another ceremony is done to bless the cacao, and then it's sent off to be purchased if you order it online or if you're able to find a local store that sells ceremonial cacao. That cacao is specifically then used either for a personal or a group ceremony. So, for example, in my ceremonies that I do on my own and with a friend, we use the ceremonial cacao as part of a like a shamanic journey, right? Where we come together as a group, and as a group, we have an intention, and we have a guided meditation, we have breath work, and so forth, and we commune with ceremonial cacao as a way to help us open up our heart chakra and allow us to connect deeper with that part of ourselves, because that's where our higher self and our inner knowing resides. So we use this as a tool to help a person be able to um, further connect with and go in a deeper journey with that. And then, of course, it can be used. You can drink it daily. There are a lot of, you know, natural health benefits with something that is cacao because it is in its raw form. But then it's beautiful also to create a daily routine with it. You know, if you already have a daily meditation routine or self care routine that you have, you can add ceremonial cacao into that process. And I personally, you know, would prefer to use something that's ceremonial cacao versus just like a regular organic cacao that I find. Um, because it comes the intention of creating this particular chocolate you know, goes hand in hand with the purpose of why I want to do my meditation or I'm doing my self-care routine, right? There's already an energy, there's a heavy intention and a group conscious energy that has been put behind that. So that's a difference. That's a difference between cacao, which just comes from the cacao pod, cocoa, which is just roasted cacao, and then ceremonial cacao, which is grown and processed with a lot of energy, ceremonies, and rituals and blessings. You know, to really not just keep the physical interrogate. I have a hard time with that word, but you know what I mean, of it, but also its energy. So I hope you guys enjoyed episode one. If you ever have any questions that come up or topics you want to suggest, please feel free to put them in the comments, because that will also be inspiration for the topics that we have for our daily cacao talks. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.